Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Artsunplugged with me, Adrian Seat. Today, it's not the usual arts program. We'll talk about what's going on the theatre scene perhaps towards the end of the show. Today, we're going to focus on the culinary arts. Now, since winning MasterChef Australia 2017, she has rolled out a couple of tricks that have been up her sleeve since even before she joined the competition. She's done countless assignments as a guest chef at private and public events, hosted travel food shows on television and I think for the internet as well, and even launched her first food concept, Canteen, at HWKR in Melbourne's hawker-style marketplace. Canteen offered a variety of fusion Asian cuisines, from traditional Malaysian street food to mouth-watering desserts. Diana Chan is in the studio. Welcome to Artsunplugged. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
I want to talk about Canteen in a little bit, but I think I want to take you back to the whole MasterChef Season 9, isn't it, in 2017. This is the Australian edition that you won. Contestants on MasterChef. I had a quick conversation with my friends, and I was telling them I was going to be meeting you here today. They're all very keen to know whether they play up to the camera or are they really authentically cooking in order to win this competition, because a lot of TV networks they kind of like drama,
Yeah, of course. Look, there's a little bit of drama, but as far as a reality TV show goes, and speaking from experience, being on it actually is very, very, very stressful. Like we actually only have.
We don't see the stress.
Yeah, yeah, right. No, it is actually really quite true to what you see on TV. Of course, in TV fashion, there's always going to be edits and stuff, so not everything is synchronized the same way. But the drama, all the the camaraderie between everyone is actually really, it's all real. It's real
because you're kind of like put together for like a couple of months, isn't it? It's like almost like a boot camp.
Yes, it's like a kids camp, right? Like we're told when to go to sleep, when to wake up, when to eat, when to go to the toilet. So we're actually
that's a roster.
Yeah, we live in this house, so we don't know what the next day is either. So they keep us in suspense, and we live in a house with 24 individuals, strangers. For 7 months, no phones.
Social media.
You're cut out you're cut off from the outside world. So naturally, the people in the house become your support network. They become like your family. So we are, in that sense, very close within the house.
So you're kind of like forced to be friendly with each other, kind of like forced to get along, right?
Yeah.
Just to some extent. In preparing for this conversation, I obviously had to look at some of the videos that are on YouTube and then Google, and what I found was there's this mystery box challenge during the MasterChef competition that really highlighted your talents, right? But when you get something like that, the mystery box challenge, and I think there were a few, weren't they?
Yeah.
There were like 2 or 3 of mystery box challenges throughout the competition.
Yeah, like every week. Oh, like 12.
Yeah, 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is the first 3 things that come through your mind when you open your box?
Yeah.
Like what are the
first 3 things?
Yeah, the first 3 things that come to your mind.
I think of my fridge. Well, I think like opening my fridge, what would I find? But in mystery box challenge, I love it because it's exciting. You just never know what you're gonna get.
Okay, so you like those challenges?
I love those challenges because it's like life, and it's the way I cook. It's my usual routine. I go home, I don't know what I have, and I'll whip something up with what I have in the fridge.
In the fridge. Don't you already know what's in your fridge before you leave the house? Because then you can go to the grocery and like top up,
Not always.
Not always. Not always.
You never know when you're going to have that secret stash of lemons hidden in the back of your fridge where it's all gone soft and soggy.
Or ikan bilis somewhere.
Course, yeah. Or sambal belacan.
Or sambal belacan somewhere. Now, the other thing about MasterChef that seems to come up in the conversations I've had with my friends, this is yesterday over Mama, okay, before I went to bed. So it's like, I was telling everyone, you come into the studio, having a conversation with us and all the rest of it. And then, so everybody's on Google, trying to find out a bit more about you and trying to find out whether you're cooking tonight somewhere in some public place where they can come and makan, your stuff. And then what we also found was the fact that the difference between you winning Australian MasterChef 2017 and this is season 9, right?
Yes.
and how do you pronounce his surname? His Ben
Ungerman.
Ungerman
Yeah.
was really 1 point.
Yes.
Yeah, and after that there was apparently this whole uproar.
Yeah.
There were people tweeting, and this is in 2007. It's 2019 now. We can still find some of the tweets and
Yes.
some of the conversations that people were having.
Yeah.
What was your reaction at the time about the uproar?
I mean, to be honest, like it didn't. I've got sort of like an attitude where I'm quite blasé, so it didn't really bother
Really,
me.
yeah?
Yeah, it didn't. I honestly was really busy straight after, so I did. But you know, I can understand the frustration. It's very similar to sport, right? When you go and watch a football game,
There you go. You have supporting.
yeah, say you have like Man City and Tottenham or whatever,
Okay,
like
yeah.
you know, they'll always, regardless of how well the players played or whatever, you know, penalties there are or whatever, there will always be two sides that and the reality is there's always going to be a winner and there's always going to be
Someone in second place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't see it as a loser being in second place because we were both worthy of being there and we both fought for the same thing. So
Yeah.
that's just the reality. But
And that's just reality of it is a competition,
it
right?
is a
All said
competition.
and done. Yeah.
I think because people, the thing about the MasterChef show is that people invest in
Yeah,
you a lot.
emotionally
Yeah.
invested.
Because they've been watching it for 3 months. It's shown on
Yes.
TV every day for 3 months, and people feel like they know you, you know.
Yeah.
So I walk down the street and they go like, "Hey, how's your mom?" Like
You
because they
go,
saw my mom.
Who are you?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
it's
they-
like, who are you?
yeah, they invested so much time and they pick a side and they adore you, you know, like they
Yeah.
become your biggest fan.
Yeah, which is great because then it leads into a situation where if you open up a pop-up store or you work in a restaurant or you do a joint venture with someone, then people will be interested to come and taste your food, isn't
Yes.
it? So that sort of leads into my next question, which is I think Chantin.
Chantin,
Yeah,
yeah.
Chantin. So it is a play on your surname, isn't it? Because
It is.
because it's like it's supposed to be canteen, right?
Yeah.
Then you got the H and then you don't know what to do with it, so you call it Chantin.
Yeah. Isn't that clever? I love
Very
it.
clever, very clever. So are there plans to expand the idea of Chantin? Because I know Chantin happened in Melbourne in a hawker style sort of
Yes.
street, fair street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what
so it was basically a pop-up which we had for 6 months.
Okay.
And it you know, it went really well, and so I do want to sort of expand it. And whether it's going to be called Chantin or not, is the big question. But yeah, I'm looking into doing my permanent
Okay,
restaurant.
so it is perhaps moving into a full-fledged restaurant at some
Yes.
stage. And is the concept going to be the same with what Chantin was all about as a pop-up?
Yeah, so one of the things that I sold at Chantin was char kway teow. And
Got lap chiang or not?
God, and to be honest,
Got tau gay or not?
here's a funny story for you. I had no idea like how to cook char kway teow, right?
Really?
But yeah, I mean like do you?
You've eating it or you've been eating
Of
it all your
course,
life?
eating and cooking is two
Two
different things,
different
right?
things.
Okay,
Ah.
so eating is you know, and there's a lot of pressure because like it's got such a you know people who love char kway teow.
they
especially
know
from
their
Penang,
char kway
They
teow.
know their char kway teow, right? So I watched countless YouTube videos, like maybe 50 YouTube videos of this uncle in Penang cooking his char kway teow, and I was like, okay, I got to get this technique right. So then I learned it. And then, and that's how it all came about. And then we sold 17,500 plates in 6 months.
No way.
And some days I was cooking till my arm was about to break. It was like
So
200.
you basically did the char kway teow cooking.
I did, and I couldn't do all
Yeah,
of
you
it,
couldn't
but
do
I
all of
taught
it. Yeah.
the chefs to do it. So
Yeah.
we would sell about 240 plates a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a hit, and I know I've got a winning formula, and yeah, of course I intend to have that.
So that will be in the
It will
full-fledged
be,
restaurant at some stage.
and amongst other things as well.
Amongst other
Yeah.
things. Stay with us, you're listening to Artsunplugged. We'll be right back. MasterChef Australia 2017 winner, Season 9, Diana Chan is in the studio with us. You're listening to Artsunplugged. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You're listening to Artsunplugged with me, Adrian Seed. In the studio is the winner of Australian MasterChef Season 9, 2017. Diana Chan is with us. Diana Chan's pride for her Malaysian heritage is evident from her plating of an array of peranakan. sometimes I think fusion Malay, and then there's Cantonese-inspired cuisines on MasterChef, the competition itself, right? And you're very keen for people to taste and understand how really complex Malaysian food is. So here's the question, Diana. Malaysia is an amalgamation of different races, and as a result, we offer different food choices. So I don't know whether there's something known as Malaysian food, as much as I think there is Chinese food, Malay food, Indian food, and you find them in Malaysia, correct? So I'm trying to figure out, with social media at hand, has the task of exporting our culture through food been easier or more challenging for you as a chef in the world is all a stage sort of environment today?
I definitely think it's easier.
Easier?
Yeah, for sure. Because
I was expecting a different answer.
Really?
Yeah.
No, because in this day and age, with the generation that's the upcoming and stuff, they that's what they rely heavily on. I am I'm a victim of it. Like when I go to a cafe, right, in Melbourne, I would actually go onto the Instagram page to look at the photos they have been tagged in, so I can get an indication of what the dish looks like. Yes, and then I make my decision on what I want, because for me it's a visual thing.
Okay. Do you also kind of like look into the internet space to see whether the restaurant is worthy of your taste buds before you even go in? As in, if people
like
have
TripAdvisor.
Yeah, TripAdvisor. Like you do that, right?
I do. Especially not so much when I'm in Melbourne or Malaysia, but
because
more,
you kind of know.
Yeah, you kind of know.
Lived in these two places and grew up.
Mainly, like if I'm in, like if I'm in UK or America or whatever, I would jump online and just have a look, because I just don't want to waste my calories eating that food. Like, to put it quite simply, like life's too short for bad food, okay?
They say never trust a skinny chef, so you're skinny.
I'm not that skinny. I hide it well.
You hide it well. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm under the impression that Peranakan food is only just becoming popular today, and I bring up Peranakan food because I've kind of met some members of your family, and they were correcting me, because I'm Peranakan, I'm from Malacca, and Malay, the Malay and the Hokkien that is spoken at home is sort of defines who we are, or sort of gives us our identity. Then I find out that people in Penang, in Johor, and even in Singapore, they are more Hokkien based.
Yes.
So Malay is not necessarily the lingua franca at home.
Yeah.
So as a result of the language, our food becomes a little bit different, isn't it? So as a person of Peranakan heritage yourself, you featured some of the Peranakan food in the competition. Do you think the cuisine will eventually leave a mark in this world, or remain a fad? Because right now in Malaysia, I think, and a lot of my friends think, that the whole craze of Indonesian food is phasing out. People are more interested in Korean food because of the K-pop culture.
Okay.
So is that going to happen to our Peranakan culture? Yeah, our Peranakan food?
I think Peranakan food is dying, to be honest.
Wow.
I feel like there's not a lot of, to be perfectly fair, I don't see a lot of like Baba Nyonya restaurants out.
No.
Right? And the ones that do it probably aren't given enough recognition, or it's one, maybe it might not be up to the standards, because it's such a culture that hasn't been. It's always been a very homely sort of cooking, right?
Correct.
Like one dish has probably like 50 ingredients, and to make it commercialize is very hard.
And very expensive.
Correct, but I feel like no one's actually taken that and sort of. It's the mindset, that people are in. I went to a really good restaurant the other day called Nadodi, and it was like Indian food taken, a fine dining Indian restaurant, and it's like, how can you compare that to a banana leaf, or like, you know what I mean?
Can't.
You
it's
can't.
apple and orange.
It's completely different, and I think that's what people's perception are. They are comparing a restaurant style nyonya food to home cooking nyonya food. It's going to be completely different. And I hope it's not a fad. I don't think it is a fad. I think it is a trait that is dying, a tradition that's dying, and it would be good to see, chefs and people who are Peranakan kind of descent bring it back to life.
Bring it back to life. So the I guess a follow-up question to that is that you have like your little paos that are being sold in frozen, right?
Yeah.
And they're sold in, I think...
Coles and Woolies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Woolies, as in
Woolworths.
Woolsworth. Yeah,
Yeah.
Woolsworth. For those of you who are not Australian and don't know what Woolies mean. We
like to abbreviate
Yeah,
things.
abbreviate things. Would you then consider perhaps, cooking up pots and pots and pots of spices for certain types of Peranakan cuisine and then just putting them in packets and then selling them out there? Is that part of your plan?
100%.
Yeah.
I think a lot of why cooking puts people off is because there's
So much of work.
Correct. In this day and age, everyone works. Not the women don't stay at home and cook. The husband and wife both go to work. So it's making things convenient for people, but not substituting the quality.
The quality
Yeah.
of it.
So I'm coming up with a range of paste and sauces. It's actually in the works at the
In the
moment.
works.
Which and once again I say like it will never you can never compare it to what your grandmother or mother makes at home, but it will give you a sense of it will give you a sense of belonging. It will remember. It will trigger memories.
Trigger happy memories.
Correct.
Happy memories.
It will be close enough.
Close enough. So here's the thing, Diana. I want you to the whole Asian food has had a very good reputation thanks to the internet and television programs, right? So forget about the impact of Crazy Rich Asian, the film, for a moment, okay? How has our food changed the perception of how the Westerners in general and the Australians in particular see us as Asians?
I think it's when they when people come here, what really resonates with I'm speaking from like just being in Australia.
Yeah.
People think when they think of Asian, Malaysian, Singaporean food, they think of hawker food,
Really, yeah?
street food, hawker street food.
They don't want to dine in our nice restaurants with aircon.
No, because that's what they get there. But you know what's the sad part?
What?
We don't have very good street food now. I feel that that's another thing that's dying, and I think we should revive that.
You should revive that.
Yeah, and
But the thing is with hawker food, there is the whole a lot of my Matsali friends don't want to go to the hawker fair because it's like, Adrian, this is by the roadside.
Yeah,
Adrian, this
plastic.
is by the drain. It's
Yeah.
like, you look at it, you go, are we eating here? I'm like, yeah, actually, just sit down. It's like, no, we're not eating here, right? I was like, no, actually, we are eating here. So how do you get over that in terms of perceptions? They think we are very, very rich thanks to a Crazy Rich
Yes.
Asian, and then they think we eat dirty food thanks to that.
no, look, I think we still have a really nice like Chinese, and there's a lot of now like really good restaurants that are that serve Malaysian food but more fine dining, and that's really good to see, and I really support that scene coming back here to KL in Malaysia in general. It's really nice to see that because we're not trying to do Western food. I always say the best food is to use produce that's local. We're never gonna get oysters as fresh as you would like you get in Australia.
Correct, they're huge.
Yeah, exactly. You can
just don't
import
get
them.
here. Yeah, and then it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money, but it will take 3 days before you actually sell them, and it's not the same. So why do it? Like, sell some PPs instead. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Celebrate that.
La la.
Yeah, la la. Celebrate the local ingredients, and I love seeing restaurants here do that.
So, as an Asian living in Australia, as a Malaysian living in Australia, I think you want as much as possible to showcase Asian food.
Yeah.
So, if there is a place for Asian cuisine to thrive, are our local kopitiams, mamak stalls losing their place in this world? Because many of them in Malaysia, I don't know whether you've noticed it, just being in KL in the last 2 weeks or so that you've been here, they're getting replaced with fancy cafes. Everybody wants. I don't know, a bit of pastry, and then they want their hot latte like me.
I think, okay, here's the thing I think about Asia. Asia is a fast-growing economy, not just Malaysia, like Asia in general, right? So the wealth is growing exponentially, right? So people expect a different atmosphere. They want a different dining experience because they can afford it. Back in the day, people couldn't afford it.
That's
So
right.
that's why they would pay. They would go to the kopitiam. They would have their 50 cents kopi and
Roti kaya.
Yeah, but I love that. But unfortunately, I feel that it is definitely a dying trade.
So in KL, can we look forward to Diana Chan Kopitiam?
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
I mean, never know.
Stay with us, you're listening to Artsunplugged. We'll be right back. You're listening to us, coming to you live from Paradigm Mall. And welcome back. You're listening to Artsunplugged. In the studio is Diana Chan, the MasterChef winner of 2017 Season 9. She was selected in the top 24 to contest MasterChef in Australia. Her use of mystery box ingredients resulted in her being in the top 3 for tasting on 3 occasions, one of which she won, and she was also in the top 3 for invention tests on 2 occasions, winning once, right? And she captained her team as well to win the first team challenge for the year. So with all that, yeah, I had to Google you after the mama. You know? Lucky thing we didn't go to a wine place. I just cannot come home and Google. So you're back in KL because there was some work engagements that you got involved with. So now you've kind of like extending your little stay so that you can spend time with your mom and dad, brother, and all that who's here. And I think
to eat.
Yeah, and to eat. But last week when you came back for the purpose of work, you were plating for guests of the Australian High Commission, and some of our ministers, as in our local Malaysian ministers, were also in attendance, right? So with menu creation, you come back to Malaysia, you're invited by Australian High Com. When you create menu, you also think about food tasting, right? And we all have very different taste buds.
Correct.
So how do you determine that what you are tasting is going to be a hit with guests of an event like the other night, last week?
Okay, so first things first, with the event last week, part of the main reason was for food export from Australia into Malaysia, so I had to sort of highlight a lot of Australian produce, being like Australian beef, dairy, fresh fruits and veg,
Okay.
So I used a lot of that in the cooking. But in terms of taste and flavour, I tried to sort of tweak it to have Malaysian taste and flavour. So it was really good on both ends, you know, like the Aussies on the table, you know, never expected to, you know, for example, like I did the main dish, I did like a beef rib with like, you know, Paris mash, and then I had a Sarawak peppercorn sauce.
Okay.
So I kind of like took it back to Malaysia without veering too far away from the actual, you know,
theme.
Yeah, the theme. Like, so you're trying to create like an a la carte Western style dinner, but then trying to suit local taste.
Local taste.
Yeah.
So I want to flip the coin. Events are events because, you know, they have got some specific items on the menu or some specific items on the agenda for you to showcase as a chef, and you use that as creatively as you possibly can. But then when you curate an evening at a restaurant as maybe a guest chef, that's very different from an event. What goes into the decision you have to make about the menu? Do you come up with a menu that is because it's a restaurant now, right? You don't know your audience. This one you kind of know, Australia High Com people, Malaysian ministers and all that. But now in a restaurant setting, your guest chef, do you come up with a menu that is, okay, I want this menu to be mind-blowing, or do you come up with one that is that's going to have the restaurateurs, or rather the guests that come into the restaurant, experience your signature style of what Diana Chan is all about, or cook crowd favorite? Okay, you know that these people all like laksa, then you cook laksa, you know?
As an event, I probably would never cook a crowd favorite. As a business, I would cook a crowd favorite, because business sense, obviously we make more money like that. But in terms of like, if there is a guest chef event, it depends. Like, you know, if it's a degustation paired with, you know, wine pairing, whiskey pairing, then you create dishes to pair that. If it was something that, you know, I'm selling tickets for, come and experience Diana's signature dishes, then I would do my signature dishes being, you know, things that what I'm known for.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you known for?
I'm known for like basically my Malaysian food. I wouldn't say it's, you know, I wouldn't say it's Malay, Indian, Chinese, but it's Malaysian food as a whole.
As a whole.
Yeah.
So
that's my strength.
Is it Malaysian food with a twist?
It's usually Malaysian food with a twist, because I try and make it more modern, and you know, I might not use the same techniques, but the flavors will be the same.
The flavors will be the same.
So I might use a, you know, French technique or you know, Japanese, whatever, but but the flavors will be Malaysian flavors. So having said that, I want to sort of talk a little bit about food innovation today. Are Australians, Westerners so familiar with our food now, thanks or no thanks to the internet, that we can now present, like you just said, a degustation or a deconstructed version of Malaysian cuisine on our menus? Is that possible today? It is very possible, depending on where I think location is very important. Like you probably, I mean, no offense, but you, like say in Australia, Melbourne would do so well in this.
Sydney,
you know,
would they do well in Sydney?
100%.
Then you go to some place like Byron Bay or Toowoomba.
Byron Bay, you'll be surprised because there's a lot of like tourists. But
Tourists, yeah.
say you put it in Alice Springs, right?
Okay.
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
Or if you put it in like no, Darwin's fine, like Broome or something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you have to understand your target audience at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
Melbourne's very good for that.
Okay. As diners, as people who like food, you and I included, what are we craving more of today? And this is in relation to, I guess, the general masses, members of the public. A twist in local food, or going back to the purest of simple food form, or is fusion food the way to go forward?
That's a hard one because I am a believer in all. I feel it depends on the environment of your restaurant. If you're going to do a fine dining restaurant, I think it is then the food has to be theatrical. It has to be an experience rather than just food.
Than just food.
If you're cooking at home, I cook the simplest things. I cook with like 3 ingredients, you know, and that is like for me home cooking, just making it simple but tasting good.
And nutritious.
Yeah, and nutritious because you don't get that out. So like when you go out and dine, it's all about the experience, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's sort of, you know, there is a place for everything.
Okay.
Yeah, food is not just defined as you know, having to be fine dining. I think there is, you know, you don't want to have fine dining every day.
Actually, I do.
You do it? I can't afford it. Like I can't afford to, you know, every day. So
Neither can I, which is why it's not happening. Now, so the thing is with what we are craving more, the reason why I asked you that question is I'm trying to figure out whether or not, just like fashion,
right?
You've got spring, summer, autumn, winter, right? There's kind of like a trend. Okay, this year's trend would be either a style that is influenced by the 60s or 70s, and then there's colors that would influence a particular collection. Where are we going food-wise? What are the food trends? Is there even a food trend for 2019?
There is. I think the food trend, I can speak for Australia, is what they call sharing style, which is like what we do in Malaysia anyway. So gone are the days of white tablecloths. Not gone, there still is, and there's always going to be a place for that.
Okay.
But most restaurants now are sort of what you call like a casual, more like a fresh casual dining experience. Okay. So you go into a restaurant not expecting any, you know, tablecloths, but beautiful furniture. The food is all shared. So you're gonna have, instead of having one dish a la carte, you know, you're gonna have 5-6 dishes and you share amongst everyone.
Okay,
so
because like over here, what we do is
normal.
You order something, I order something, then after that I pick off your plate, you pick off my plate.
Yeah.
But now it's become
it's become a thing where you just share. And it's the way it's like Chinese restaurants, right? Like how we order
because
dishes.
We all dishes and then everybody has one bowl of rice.
Yeah.
So now Australia is becoming like that.
It is. Yeah, food to share. In fact, so much so it really annoys me when you go to a restaurant.
I was just gonna ask you, do you like
that you sit down and they go, "Hi guys, just so you know, our menu's designed to share." I'm like, yeah, I
get it.
No shit.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So the thing with that is, you know, I find that it makes restaurants a little bit unusual for the Westerners.
Yes.
Then Asians, we're kind of like, we're so used to it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's good and bad for restaurants because like then people can try everything.
People can try everything.
Right, and then they might not come back.
Because they've tried everything.
Yeah,
okay.
But it's also good because then they, you know, at the same time they order more rather than just 2
correct.
dishes.
So the bill is bigger. Okay, stay with us. You're listening to Artsunplugged. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You're listening to Artsunplugged. Adrian Seed in the house, and we've got Diana Chan, MasterChef Australia 2017 Season 9 winner. She comes back to Malaysia as often as 3-4 times a year, mainly for a bit of work. and then the rest of the time is just really spending time with family, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
And
it is,
eating.
and eating. Since winning the competition, she has collaborated with Chinese food brand Golden Wok to introduce a range of frozen dumplings. We talked about it earlier, which are now available in major supermarkets in Australia, such as Coles and Woolworths. Are you going to bring it to Giant and TMC and all that in KL at some stage?
I will bring it to Malaysia. That's the plan.
That's the plan.
And we are working on that.
You're working on that.
Yes.
So they call cooking or baking culinary art for a reason, Diana. What do you draw upon for inspiration when it comes to new recipes?
For new recipes, I think first thing that's really important is to understand what people want. So as a consumer, so I go out, I eat out a lot. I go to restaurants because I want to see what people say.
We're going to do that after this.
Yes,
We're going to go to some.
because you need to understand your competition, right? So that's one of the main things that you need to understand what it's it's all well and good if you want it to come up with something really different, but then sometimes you're not commercially viable if you're going to do something too far from the truth, right? The other thing is local. I always believe in using local produce to create the best dining experience in a restaurant. There's nothing better than picking your herbs from the garden and cooking it straight away, or getting the fish from the local market and cooking it on the day itself. That to me are the two main things: understanding your market, your audience, who's eating, what do they like,
and what you can reach out and grab, isn't it? Because I think I read somewhere in my little bit of homework that I did last night that I think when you were young, mom and dad were in the kitchen, and then you kind of like had a sayo herb garden, herb garden outside, and then you kind of like pick up the herbs like 10 minutes before mom is about to use them, and that sort of gave you the rhythm of what,
and also an understanding of herbs. Like my mom is obviously very very healthy, and so she.
I'm so interested to go and see this house in Johor now, where the herb garden is.
It's not that big, but I sort of pluck the herbs and I understand what mint should taste like, or what
fresh mint would taste like,
or what
right?
turmeric leaves would taste like, so I that was where I sort of learned, like, okay, this is actually what a real ingredient, not a dried herb, but
not a dried herb
fresh,
from a plastic bag,
fresh.
right? Yeah. Okay. So the next chapter for Diana Chan is to work on an up and coming restaurant. We've talked about that, and then I'm hoping to get your pao in TMC and Giant and dumplings. Yeah, take us through your drawing board as to what you have to think about when you sit down to draw up a menu. So now you understand your customers, you understand that this is your fresh produce. Now you open a restaurant, you think, what should my menu look like? What should my entrees selection be like? What should my mains have? Desserts, how should I end people's meals?
Yes. Look, I think there always, of course, needs to be a theme. So you need to understand what sort of cuisine. I don't like going to a restaurant where you have Indian, Malay, Chinese.
Yeah, and everything, and you go,
Thai,
what do I eat?
And Italian, suddenly it's pasta in the mix. So, no, that will not happen. I would not open a place where that serves 5 different cuisine. It will be either it could be a region, it could be Thai, Malaysian, but it would be heavily influenced on Malaysian flavors. I wouldn't say Malaysian cuisine per se, but like Malaysian flavors. So I can use local Australian ingredients with a Malaysian flair.
Yeah. So the thing is, with that in mind, when you curate your restaurant, this up and coming restaurant that's going to be opening in Melbourne, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Would you be working on that restaurant to sort of make it a Michelin ranked restaurant at some stage? Because I'm trying to figure out, is it important for you? How important is a Michelin ranked restaurant to you as a diner, as a patron, and also as a MasterChef winner?
Yeah. Look, for me at this stage, I understand my caliber, or understanding my market is very important. Like, I'm not targeting, the upper echelon, of course, like, I would love, people of all walks and ages of life to come to the restaurant, but it is not my dream at the moment to open a fine dining restaurant for me, it's about sharing my experience, my life experience with food and travel through my food that I can serve in the restaurant, but make it accessible and reasonable for everyone to come and have. So it's not going to be super cheap, it's not going to be super expensive, it's going to be in the middle.
Affordable.
Affordable food that's tasty and good for everyone to have. And that is the goal. So when I sit down and I draw up a menu, I think about what I like to eat, but also what would people like to eat, and there needs to be cheaper items on the menu. There needs to be the middle section, and then there needs to be, of course, desserts, and so it's sort of and designing it where the flavors of Malaysia sing through all the dishes, but then there's a familiarity with Melburnian culture.
Okay. So the thing is, you talk a lot about the fact that it's going to be a very Asian flavored restaurant, right? With whatever restaurant you open, or whether it's going to be a cafe, whether it's going to be a pop-up, whether it's going to be a brick and mortar.
It'll be brick and mortar.
It's going to be a brick and mortar. So winning MasterChef has obviously given you the different trajectory in your career path, and right now the way you view your life and where your life is headed, where your career is concerned. Do you think an Asian I think one of the first few winners that we saw on MasterChef was Po Ling Yao, I think Po's Kitchen, who apparently originated from Penang.
Yes.
Yeah. Did she open the door for someone like you to go on and win a competition like that?
I personally know her, and I think she's such a lovely person. She was in the first season. She came second. She's an amazing cook. No, I think she definitely created sort of like a platform, as well as Adam Liao in the second season. So
correct.
I think they
so many Malaysian Singaporeans go to Australia and then they win.
They sort of like introduce our cuisine to the world.
Yeah, to the world through the Australian palate, isn't it? Yeah. And like MasterChef and Bake Off, we are inundated with TV shows. Either pitting one cook against the other or one baker against the other. We've got like Bake Off, we've got MasterChef, and every country has got their own version of MasterChef. Yeah. Right? We even have like the children's version, the kids version. These 12-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 15-year-olds all getting into the kitchen and winning the contests. Do you think cooking competitions are heading towards the compost bin at some stage? Because I say this because like at one stage, how American Idol, they wanted to scrap American Idol.
Right.
Yeah, after 10 seasons or 15 seasons, we are done because ratings was dropping.
Yes. Hard to tell because traditional methods of watching television is sort of declining. We understand that, but the MasterChef brand is only stronger and stronger compared to the first season until now. It is so strong. They've upheld the brand very well. So as far as I know, MasterChef is still going to go on for many years. And it's you see more and more people interested in cooking food at home because of the show. As a result of the show, they're experimental.
They watch the show and then they all think they're MasterChef lah.
But it's true. Well, we're all home cooks, right? So
that's how you started.
Exactly.
Right?
I was never, I cooked at home and it is so achievable.
You didn't go to culinary school.
No,
the last I checked, you went to university to become an accountant or something.
Exactly. And the other thing is that food is a universal language. It doesn't matter where you're from in the world. We all need to eat. We all love food. Everyone loves food.
Yeah, everyone loves food. Stay with us listening to Artsunplugged. Diana Chan is in the studio. When we come back, we're going to have like just about rapid round questions. Very, very quick questions, very quick answers. You're listening to Artsunplugged. We're coming to you live from Paradigm Mall. Welcome back, you're listening to Artsunplugged. MasterChef Australia 2017 Season 9 winner Diana Chan in the house for a rapid round of questions. So Diana, this is very fast, okay? I ask you a question, you give me the answer, okay? Growing up, what was the one dish that cemented your path to cooking?
I think it was like a roast chicken dish where the temperature was just right. Like I was like, oh my god, I did this really well. Like
so
can cook.
You can cook.
Yeah, it was more the technique rather than.
So that was the one. It's just damn it, this one I can cook lah.
Yeah, or like maybe a piece of steak or something where I was like just perfect, like medium rare, perfect. I was like, okay.
Okay, this one can do. Okay. If they were asked to describe you, what do you think your fellow MasterChef contestants in Season 9 would say about you?
They would call me a kitchen ninja.
Really?
Yeah, because I used to prepare lunches for a lot of them,
No
and we
way.
would only have half an hour to prepare a lunch, and we would just like make a dish within half an hour. So
Okay.
I'm really quick in the kitchen. That's what I'm known for.
So it's like Ninja Diana.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
Peranakan dish or method of cooking or ingredient you would like to revive?
It can't just be one for me because there's so many Peranakan dishes that are currently dead, or not dead, but not
cooked enough.
Not cooked enough. So I think just the whole cuisine, to be honest.
I go around town to all the Peranakan restaurants looking for buah keluak.
Yeah.
You know, the keluak curry with.
But that's hard to achieve here. I mean, overseas, because you can't really get
get
that.
the food.
But I mean, things that you can achieve, everywhere. If you really want to bring Peranakan food to the world level, you need to think of ingredients that you can substitute or get.
If you run out.
Yeah, exactly.
In Chinatown.
Correct.
Nastiest food or thing to ever hit your tongue?
Wow, this is a hard one. So there's like, I don't really like spare parts, offal, that kind of stuff.
No, I also don't eat that. You know, the
I'm
Chinese
not-
spare parts, so I don't know how to eat.
Yeah, I'm not into that kind of thing. So like, I don't know, like maybe like, I can't remember what it was, but like fish eyes or something. I'm like, no.
What about like
Take away.
delicacies of other countries? Like, you know, like some countries have got like the smelly tofu.
Yeah, stinky
And then, like-
tofu. Yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah,
Like, I can't even like smell it. Like, I mean, it's like, I love blue cheese and I love belacan. I can,
Belacan.
yeah, but I love all that. But I just, I can't do stinky.
Because I can't
It's
do
like,
the
no.
Filipino the Philippine balut, the one the egg
Oh,
and it's,
yeah,
the bird
yeah,
is
no, I can't do
I can't. Most apprehensive ingredient to cook with?
Salt,
Really, yeah?
for sure.
Salt has to be in everything, Diana Chan.
Everything has to be flavored, and in fact, I'm very bad at it because I put salt in everything.
What is something you just cannot
Oh.
cook right? No matter how you try.
Oh wow. What can I cook right?
Because I've got a friend who's of Indian, she's Indian, and the one thing she just cannot get right is soti. There is this, it's something that is made of coconut milk, santan, that you have to bring to boil, and it's got kunyit in it.
Yeah.
And you need to lift that whole pot off the fire
geez.
just before the santan breaks into oil. Yeah,
Oh
so
my
that's just the
God.
one thing she just cannot do, and no matter how hard she tries, she always gets the fire wrong.
Oh, okay. I would say maybe like I'm not the best at tempering chocolate.
Temperature. Oh, that's
Yeah,
dessert.
I mean, like cooking maybe I don't know, like if I haven't really like come across things that I haven't been able to cook right, but like it all takes.
Tempering chocolate, huh? Tempering chocolate, a bit
Yeah, I
difficult.
think it's just that I just don't have the patience. I just want it done,
Greatest cookbook you've ever bought and learned from?
I really like Artsunplugged. Yotam Artsunplugged.
Why?
I just think it's very honest. The food's really honest. There's another cookbook from a restaurant called Bray in Australia, and it's all farm to table approach. I love that. And there's one called the Flavor Thesaurus.
Okay,
and
Flavor
it
Thesaurus,
literally,
yeah, I've heard of that.
yeah, it literally tells you everything about like different flavors and stuff. But yeah, like I mean, there's a lot of older books like Thomas Keller, famous chefs and stuff from around the world. But yeah, I think one of my favorites.
I'm looking forward to your book.
Yes.
It's in the pipeline, I hope, yeah? One dish that you will cook if you ever get invited to be the guest chef at Buckingham Palace.
Oh my god, this has to be nasi lemak.
Serious, huh? Can you imagine the queen eating
Oh my
nasi
god,
lemak?
that would just be gold. Like that would make the headlines of everything. That's true Malaysian though.
That's true, Malaysian, isn't it? Nasi lemak. We
Yeah.
eat it for breakfast, some people eat for supper.
Yeah.
And then we might just about have it for lunch later, so yeah. Okay, you gotta choose one. No choice, you gotta choose, yeah? Nigella Lawson or Giada de Laurentiis? Just choose. For whatever reason, just choose.
Nigella.
Nigella? Okay, I'm very tempted to ask you why, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
Choose one out of these two chefs. One to party with and one to collaborate with. Okay, Kylie Kwong. She's got this program called Heart and Soul, and then Po Ling Yao's Po's Kitchen.
I would party with Po and probably collaborate with Kylie.
Oh yes, party with Po, Party with Po. Okay, last question. Choose one. to dine with and the other to have sex with.
Oh wow.
Bobby Chin of World Cafe or Bobby Flay, who's I think Iron Chef, isn't it? Iron Chef, the worst cooks in America.
Bobby Flay's got a reputation.
Yeah, that's why I asked you that question.
Bobby Chin. Maybe I'll have sex with Bobby Flay and then have dine with Bobby Chin.
I'll give you his number.
Can I say neither?
So you heard it here on Arts Unplugged on what do you call AFO Radio, guys. Diana, I think I want to say thank you for coming through and coming and having a chat with us. I look forward to seeing your recipes in some magazine, in some book somewhere. I look forward to the tai pao, sai pao, char siu pao, whatever pao that you're making, dumplings, come to the TMCs and the Giants of Malaysia, and you come back as often as you can and cook for us, okay? So you have won MasterChef. You do a lot of work to promote tourism in Malaysia. What else are you hoping to do in 2019?
The goal is to set up the restaurant, to not so much promote, but just to showcase, like, just to cook food that I love and to let people taste it. And yeah, like the TV show, hopefully I get that on the road and start some filming and showcasing a bit of not just food in Malaysia, but like the culture, we've got some
the way people live,
and some of the best beaches, you know.
Really? Yeah? I thought you would say that about Australia.
Of course we do in Australia too, but in Malaysia, not many people know about it because they always go to our neighbours.
Correct. We always
Thailand,
go to
Vietnam,
Indonesia.
maybe even Sentosa, Singapore. You know, here we have like real beaches. So
Real beaches, huh?
100%.
100%. Diana Chan, thank you very much. I hope to see you soon. Don't be a stranger, and let's go for lunch.
Thank you.
Bye.
For eating.
Attention everyone.
Get our app, AFO Radio, from the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.